I will walk through what that looks like and why you don't need any money. You literally don't even have to borrow money, raise money, collect money. You don't need any money for this challenge, which is awesome. Okay. They are fixing and flipping. They are landlords. Sometimes they are developing, meaning they are buying a piece of land and they are adding a building to that land, and they're developing something new. They are also doing refinances. Okay. So even though they might have bought a property as a landlord using your money, the Gator money, which I will walk through this, even though they've already borrowed that money, you can borrow money, hard money from the company I'm going to introduce you today, and long-term money from the company I'm going to introduce you to. And so you can double dip on these deals. So let's walk through something where you could double dip on these deals and how I do it. So I reach out to a borrower. Here's what step one looks like. Please pay attention. If you are a step person, you like steps and you like scripts, this is the time that you're going to want to pay attention. Okay. Step number one is you are going to get the list from Pace. Okay. Step one, get the list from Pace. Okay. And that will be given out at the end of the Zoom today, which is in about 3 hours. Okay. Get the list from Pace. Now, if you guys are watching this in the future, that list is already being uploaded and it should be underneath this video somehow, some way. Maybe we put a link on the screen of like gatorlist.com or something. We'll make sure that you guys get the list. Just know that we spent thousands of dollars on this list just this week. It is fresh. It has all the correct information of all of these people, cell phones, contact information, what they had for breakfast yesterday, what their favorite color is, all of the things. Okay. I know what your guys' favorite color is. It's money green. That's your favorite color. So step number one is get that list from Pace. Step number two is I would focus on a local market. Now, here's the challenge. I am talking to over 1,200 people right now, live. Okay, if you guys are watching this in the future, I want you to understand literally 1,200 Gators showed up to this challenge this morning. So congratulations to you guys. It's 7 o'clock in the morning and you guys showed up on a Saturday at 7 a.m. to change your lives. This is awesome. I have to generalize some statements from time to time when I'm talking to 1,100 people. Some people are going to say, well, what do you mean, Pace? I live in New Jersey and I don't want to do deals in New Jersey. I don't want to do deals in New York. I don't want to do deals in California. I want to do deals in North Carolina. Perfect. Then don't pay attention to rule number two. But if you are brand new and your question is, Pace, what market should I focus on? Then if that is your question and you are unsure, focus on your local market. Give me an emoji. You guys understand that? So I don't have a question that comes up later like, Pace, you said to focus on my local market, but I really want to be in North Carolina. Okay, well, I am telling that in a generalized statement for the people that don't know what market to focus on. They should go and focus on their local market. And I'll tell you why. Why do I say focus on your local market? Because any business that you do in real estate is a relationship, a skill, and a resource that you are going to obtain from every deal you do. And when you obtain local relationships and local resources, you will have an easier time compounding because those people are people you can go to their projects, you can meet their crews, you can see the houses that you are lending on, and it really adds more gravity to the business when you go and visit the property that you are lending money on. That is why I suggest going local. It has nothing to do with lending laws, has nothing to do with Gavin Newsom and how nice his hair is. It has nothing to do with any of those things. It literally just comes down to the fact that when you do these deals, you will build a relationship with your borrowers. Knowing that you can stop by the project and meet them face to face really solidifies the ability that you will now be their number one borrower. Think about this. If you are only digital with these borrowers, somebody else is going to call them as well, who's also digital. What is your competitive advantage if both of you guys are calling the same borrower, which is going to happen? Lending is such a fruitful and profitable business. It is one of the biggest things happening in private equity right now is there are literally hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars pouring into the private lending space because the gig is out. People know. They know that I lend money to somebody else's project. I basically do no money, do no work, and I get paid in the process. That's insane. I'm basically giving somebody a shovel, a tool that they need to dig this gold mine, and I get a piece of the gold. That is incredible. So of course, there's always going to be competition in anything that is incredible that you can make a lot of money from. And so we will be running into competition. When you run into competition, the surefire way to guarantee you do not have competition is to meet your borrowers face to face. So I love that. It also is nice to go to the projects in person, see what they're working on, see what the money is that you loaned them, and see what it's doing, see how it's impacting their lives and how you are improving their lives. And it really does give you this unbelievable motivation of like, wow, I did a couple of hours worth of work and I funded this person's life, and this person is making a significant amount of money. This is freaking awesome. I'm going to pull up a borrower right now. I want to show you guys what one of my borrowers look like and why I really love going in person. This borrower was actually brought to me by a Gator member. He was really, really smart. Here's what he did. He came, this was a Gator 3.0 deal. Okay. I will explain to you guys the difference between Gator 3.0 and Gator 2.0 real quick. You should have already watched the training, but I need you to understand a couple of things. So this borrower I went out and visited a couple of weeks ago. I'm looking up the photo, which is why I'm not looking at you. I'm looking, oh, here it is. Perfect. Here he is. Awesome. Thought it was going to take me like 10 minutes. This gentleman, okay, is a borrower I went out and visited at a project just a couple of weeks ago. This gentleman is flipping the house that is directly behind me. The way that he got in touch with me is a brand new student in Gator says, Pace, what's the quickest way for me to make a significant amount of money? Now, I'm going to educate you guys on a couple of really cool things that I taught this student, and I want you to pay attention and don't be one of those people that doesn't pay attention and then ask me questions about it, because I do not miss things. I simply do not miss things. I want you to understand there are multiple ways to make money in this challenge. There's a simple way and there's a more complicated way that you can make way more money depending on your skill level. Okay. Part of this is going to practice you in skills so that the next time you go about doing this, you can start elevating. So this person was brought to me by a Gator, brand new Gator. He's like, wow, this is really simple. He comes on a Gator Q&A with me and he says, Pace, is it really this simple? I go, yes, it is. All you have to do is go to a borrower and say, hey, I saw that you fix and flipped houses. I see that's what you're doing. Do you need access to more money? We're going to go through some scripts today. Do you need access to more money for more projects? And this borrower, who I'm showing you right now, says, yes, I do need more money. In fact, I can't do more projects unless I have access to more capital. So this student, he says to me, so should I just refer him to you? And I said, yes, but here's what I want you to do. If you want to go gangster level, you want to be like a gangster Gator, what you want to do is you want to tell this borrower, hey, if I bring all the money to the table, would you split the profits of your flips with me 50-50? I'll bring the lenders, I'll bring the people, our project pays the interest, and then whatever's left over after the project, we go 50-50. So the Gator went and literally did that. This is his first borrower. They go and make $60,000 net on this deal. The Gator made 30 grand. He didn't make any money on the lending. I made the money on the lending because that's the direction he chose to go. Okay. You can make money on the lending, or you can make money on profiting with the person on their project. He made 30 grand. Why? Because it's way more money than the lender would have made. Way more money than the lender would have made. Okay. I will break that down for you guys that are visual, but I just want you to see this is a fresh deal that just happened a couple of weeks ago. And I want you to understand that this is also something that you will be running into. What's cool about this is Javier. This is also, here's his contact information. Don't be a jerk and reach out to this person because this is another Gator's borrower. Javi owns a remodeling company. He was much like me when he was starting out in the business. He's a contractor sitting there going, man, I really want to flip some of my own houses, but I don't have access to money. These are the people you are going to be reaching out to. This guy says, look, I run a remodeling company. I know what I'm doing. I know how to flip these houses, but I just need more access to money and I don't know where to get it. These people want you to reach out to them. Every single time I reach out to people, I'm either going to get, no, I'm good on money. Okay, cool. Well, I give you all sorts of different types of money. So what kind of money do you have and what kind of money do you wish you had more of? That will open up the conversation. We will go through scripts later today. This gentleman now is doing 4 flips at a time versus what he could only do at, before a gator called him was 1 at a time with his own money. He didn't know he could get private money. He didn't know he could get hard money. Why? Guys, people just don't know what you know. We are all so lucky to be in here. So Javier, doing that flip, super grateful, was happy to split the profits because now he's doing way more projects than he could have otherwise. Give me a thumbs up emoji if you understand, please. Why did I teach you this? Why did I go through that story? Because I need you to see a physical representation of real borrowers. Because those of you guys that have never been in real estate will go, do they have a unicorn horn on their head? Are they like, what do they look like? Do they wear high heels? Do they wear shorts? Do they wear cargo shorts? I don't even know what these people look like. There you go. That's what a borrower looks like. A worthy cause. You are not selling soap like Amway. You are giving them money to amplify their business. You are a massive benefit to them. Okay. You have to be sold and convicted on this because what is going to happen is you will have moments of, I haven't got a hold of somebody today. Maybe I'll quit. You'll have those moments. And so I need you to understand that there are people out there waiting for you in this 12,000 person list that are going, man, I wish I had more access to money. In fact, they go home to their wife and they go, man, if I just had access to more money, I could do more projects. But I think what's happening is there's a gator that ran into 3 no's and got so upset that they quit and they haven't reached out to me yet. Maybe if I pray really hard, I can motivate that gator to stop being lazy. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand right in the very beginning, that these borrowers need you to reach out. Now, what is Javier doing? He's doing a couple of different things. Javier in that particular situation is just doing a mere fix and flip. So he needs 2 different types of money. Okay. He needs hard money, which is Gator 2.0. And he also needs private money, which is Gator 3.0. Okay. Gator 3.0 is very, very risky. Why? Because now you're using either your money if you're dumb, you're using a line of credit if you're less dumb, or C, you're raising money from somebody else inside of the Gator community. But there's going to be somebody that brings their money to the table on a Gator 3.0 deal. And that money goes into the construction, it goes into buying the carpet, it goes into renovating the house. Gator 3.0 is the riskiest of all Gator strategies. So if you go that direction, just know I've done safety courses on this. I've done so many trainings on this. We have talked about Gator 3.0 and all of its problems and all of the check marks that you need to go through, but that is not what this challenge is. Its primary focus is Gator 2.0. So how did we bring money to the table on Gator 2.0? I will show you in a drawing. So what happened here was the student reached out to the list I gave. He focused on a market he wanted to. He actually lives in Seattle. And he says, well, I want to focus on Arizona because I want to move to Arizona one day. So he started calling Arizona borrowers from the Arizona list that I give you guys for free. He gets a hold of that borrower. Step number 3 is he says, focus on a local market. Step number 3 is reach out. I'm going to keep this really simple. Reach out, text, email, phone call, Facebook Messenger. It does not matter. There's like 15 different ways to reach out to these people if they're not answering their phone. Okay. Could I go on Instagram and find them? Could I go on LinkedIn and find them? Could I go on Facebook and find them? Could I go on all of the other websites and find them? Could I go to Their email, their cell phone. Could I text them? Could I call them? Could I do those things? Yes, I can reach out in 15 different ways. I'm not going to go through how to do that. We are all adults. I do not need to teach you this. If I need to teach you this, you should just go become a Walmart greeter, because I'm hearing that they need some Walmart greeters. If you need to learn how to reach out to people, you need more help than I could give you, period. Okay. So by the way, we've already done that training. I've done the training. I want to go fast through this. Okay. So you're going to do step 3, reach out. Step 4, you're going to figure out and ask them with genuine curiosity. Pace, how do you know so much about business or the lending business? Because I'm genuinely curious about how people are funding their deals. Okay. So I'm going to be asked with genuine curiosity, how are they funding their deals? Okay. So let's go through a mock trial of a script. Okay. Mock trial of a script. If you guys are one of those script people, I'll give you one way that I would reach out. Okay. I would say, hey, Javier, my name's Pace. I saw that you worked on a project right down the road. I just wanted to let you know I have access to a bunch of cash. I'm looking to deploy it with people that are flipping or people that are doing real estate portfolio acquisition. I'm wondering what kind of money you're currently using and how I could help you in your next project. Hey, Javier, my name is Pace. Saw that you flipped this house or bought this house. I have access to a bunch of cash. I want to see what kind of cash you used and see if I could help you with your next project. What kind of money are you using? How can I help you? And let them speak. You will now be educated. Every single borrower, believe it or not, has some sort of weird situation set up in order for them to fund their deal. Like, I'm using 0% credit cards. My mom gives me money. My dad's super rich, or, hey, I'm actually struggling. Most of the people you're going to talk to are like, I wish I had more money because I get more projects than I know I could ever fund. Perfect. Well, if I could bring money to the table, what would that look like? Could you do more projects? Okay, cool. When you do your next project, can I be the first person you think of? Yes, Javier says. Perfect. Javier, are you have any active projects right now? No, I don't have anything right now, but now that I know you, this is a key component, because in the Gator world, you are going to ignite people to go find more projects by letting them know that you can fund their projects. I'm going to say that again. You're going to say, people, like, I only fund like I only do 1 or 2 projects a year. Okay, well, cool. Let's say you had endless amounts of cash. By the way, this is still part of the script for the script writers. Let's say you have access to endless amounts of money. Would you go out and do more projects? Borrower says, absolutely, I would. Okay, great. Can I put you in my CRM? This is part of the script. Can I put you in my CRM or in my follow-up and just follow up with you every 2 weeks and just let you know, hey, I've got money. I've got money. I've got money. I've got money. And now what you're going to do is you're going to start building a pipeline of borrowers. You're going to build a pipeline of borrowers, people you've communicated with that don't need money today, but will need money in 3 weeks or in 3 months or whatever it may be. Currently in my flipping business, I don't need money today. I don't have any active fix and flips under contract because I have 9 projects in my construction phase, and I don't want to buy another property for a couple of months until I get some of my houses out of construction and sold on the market. That is how it works. So your borrowers are not going to always need money, but they will always need money at some point in the year. You just have to stay on top of them. Wait, Pace, so I have to build a pipeline? Yeah. It's called customer service. I think you probably appreciate it when Starbucks sends you a happy birthday coupon. Starbucks is also in the follow-up process. They are also, if somebody does that to sell coffee and make $1 per coffee, I think you can do follow-up for when you're making $3,000, $4,000, $30,000, or $100,000 on a thing. Take your business serious and look at other companies around you. Go, man, they're in the follow-up game. Man, this Bath and Body Works company sends me 14 emails a day. They're dead serious about selling me a product because they never know when I'm going to have ashy elbows and I'm going to need some of that sweet pea lotion that I really like. They don't know when I'm going to run out of that lotion, so they're going to keep hammering me with emails. You guys understand this is no different than any other business on the planet. Okay? We don't know when your elbows are going to be dry and your heels are going to look like they were blasted with a sandblaster. We're going to send you an email to try and sync up our timing properly to sell you some lotion and make your feet not look like you're a freaking Neanderthal. Perfect. Awesome. Guys, if somebody selling lotion takes it that seriously, I think you selling money, the greatest thing to sell on the planet, can probably take your follow-up to another level. There will be a point in the next 2 weeks where I will show you guys how to actually manage a CRM of borrowers and create follow-up sequences. That won't happen until week 2 or maybe week 3 of the challenge. You don't need a CRM right now because this week's homework is literally just to reach out to 25 borrowers each. If you are running a team, it is 25 borrowers each person on your team. If you have 10 people, your homework this week is to reach out to 250 borrowers this week and ask them this question. Hey, I'm just curious, how are you funding your projects? How can I help you amplify your projects in the future? Pretty simple. Just so you know, if you were not aware, I've already just given you the direction. I've just told you what the homework is. So you should probably write that down. So at the end of the Zoom, you're going, wait, I don't remember what the homework, what right now at 7:31 this morning, I just told you what the homework was. I told you what you should be doing this week. And I told you who you should be doing it for, how many you should do it, and in the specific time frame you should be doing it in. Okay? So in this process, you will be doing step number 4. Ask genuine curiosity. How are they funding and doing their deals? They will tell you, I don't need money. Okay, some of them will tell you, I don't need money. You want to find out what type of money are they using? Sorry for the handwriting, guys. What type of money are they using? It's really hard to do this from a distance. My handwriting, it usually looks so much better than this. What type of money are they using? Okay, step number 6. Put them in your database. Pace, I don't have a database. Yes, you do. It's called Google Sheet. Okay. You can use Google Sheets for your first database for the first couple of weeks. You don't need a CRM until you probably have, I'd say 100 or so, approximately 100 borrowers. You can now start porting them into a CRM. Do not get overwhelmed with a CRM right now. That would be called creative avoidance. If you are sitting there putting a CRM together and you don't have 100 borrowers, that is called creative avoidance, which means you are creating ways to spend time allocating your precious time on something that doesn't matter right now. A CRM does not matter until you have 100 borrowers that are in your database. Give me a thumbs up in the emojis if you understand. Do not waste your time on a CRM. You pick up your phone, the greatest money-making device on the planet, and you text or phone call, and you have not finished your homework until you have spoken to or communicated with 25 borrowers. If you go to 25 borrowers and communicate with them and you hear 25 no's, that is physically impossible. I've never seen that in my life. You'll never get that when you're selling money. People will go, oh my gosh, yeah, what are your rates? Go, well, every deal is different. So when you get your next deal, please, let's communicate and figure out how I could be competitive on your next project. Cool. You're going to put them in the database. Step number 7, you're going to follow up. Okay. I would follow up based on when you think, based on the conversation you have with them. Hey, how many flips are you doing? Oh, we do 40 a week. Okay. I'm going to be following up 40 times a day. Okay. We do 40 a year. Perfect. I'm going to follow up once a week. Oh, we do 4 a year. Perfect. I'm going to probably follow up every 2 to 3 weeks. Is that cool with you? Ask permission. Tell them you're going to follow up. Hey, I'm going to send you a gentle reminder like, hey, let me know when you have the next project. Let me know when you have the next project. And you are now going to be in the follow-up business, just like Starbucks and just like Bath and Body Works, okay? You are in the follow-up business after you get to that point. All right. Now, step number 8, you are going to direct them to the money. You are going to direct them to the money. And that is what I'm going to talk about next. I've got another 25 minutes or so this before our first guest comes in. His name is Bill Faith. He does a lot of Airbnbs, and we will make sure that Bill tells us how his people are primarily financing their deals so you can understand. Okay. All right. So give me just a second. I'm going to text Bill Faith and just make sure he's good. give him the link. Hey, Carly, I'm going to text you with Savannah on Bill Faith's team. If you could get her a link for Bill to come in and be a presenter, that would be awesome. And when he is ready in the backstage, just shoot me a text message and let me know when he's ready to go. All right. Thank you so much, Carly. You're incredible. I appreciate you. All right. So we are going to now talk about what Gator 2.0 actually is so you can understand this. Somebody like Javier, let's say he's buying a fix and flip. Okay. So Javier, where he found the fix and flip is he probably bought it from a sub-2 student. But let's say we're going to call him Bob today. Okay. Bob is the borrower. That's who we're going to be talking about today. So Bob finds a deal from a sub-2 member. Okay. This happens frequently. So sub-2 member has been out door knocking, finds a house, says, hey, I want to sell this house to you, Bob, and I want to make a $15,000 fee and I want to walk away, right? That's called wholesaling. A lot of sub-2 members do that. So if you're networking with sub-2 members, you should know people that are wholesaling deals and you say, hey, do you have any borrowers I can fund to make your life easier? Cool. So Bob's going to ask the question, how am I going to fund this house? Okay. There are two types of money. Actually, there's three types of money that Bob is going to end up using, at least three types of money. This is what I want to explain. So please pay attention. If you are a list taker, a note taker, I'm going to tell you the three types of money that Bob is going to need. By the way, guys, if you have your hand raised, you are already not aware of I'm not doing Q&A today. Okay. If you have questions, perfect. Today's not Q&A. We are teaching, and I am recording in a way that people in the future can watch this without any interruption. And I'm not going to go sidetracked. I'm not going on any side quests to answer your question about something that, you know, hey, Pace, I got a rash in my arm. What, you know, you one time made this comment about betamethasone, and where do I get betamethasone? We ain't doing that today. Okay. We are focusing. All right. Lock in, my friends. Lock in. Lock in, King, as they say. So Bob goes and buys this house. Okay, this is, I'll give you a house that I just bought last week. Okay, I bought a house on Cornell in Tempe, Arizona. That is a city for people that do not know cities. Cornell is the street name. Cornell is the name of the street. I bought the property for $414,000. That is including closing costs. That's including all of my fees to the title company. That's including everything. So what's going to happen is when Bob comes to you and he says, hey, I want to buy this house on Cornell, I need money. You're going to say, perfect. Let me be your hard money lender. I will send you through a link and you are going to give them a link. Pace, I don't have a link yet. I know that's our final guest of the day today. For me, I send them through my link, which is myinvestorloan.com. They go through myinvestorloan.com. They go get 70% or so of this money. My Investor Loan is not going to give them 100% of that money, which will give us a reason why they need a second and a third type of money to flip this property. The first one they need is the purchase money, which is the hard money loan. I have partnered with a company called Vontiv. I will introduce you today with the company Vontiv that allows me to white label their company. My Investor Loan is actually a link that goes to Vontiv, and I get paid on each transaction they fund. They send me a monthly report. Here's all the people that came through. Here's the people we rejected. Okay, pay attention to this. When I have borrowers that get rejected for whatever reason, I have so many opportunities. Carly, if you could take a note to make sure I teach about the opportunities of the rejected borrowers, that those are not people that we just go, oh, you got rejected, I don't want to do business with you. They actually pose a completely different type of opportunity, which is Gator 5.0, sponsoring other people's flips. A little bit more advanced strategy. We'll talk about that a little bit later in week number 3. But most of these people will go through, they'll submit a quote to myinvestorloan.com thinking that's my lending business. They don't get interfaced with Vontiv. I don't want them going around me. I want to have my own vanity domain. I bought that. I went to GoDaddy.com. I bought MyInvestorLoan.com. Why? Because I'm a smart marketer. I know how to market myself, just like Victoria's Secret knows how to market to you guys on Valentine's Day. I know what my customer needs. Okay. I know what vanity domain will work. I don't want to go vontive.com/paste. That sounds cheesy, markety, salesy, etc. I want it to be myinvestorloan.com. Cool. That's kind of catchy. Makes sense. Love it. So my borrowers like Javier do not actually go to me to request the money. They go to a domain that I control. That domain forwards to Vontive. Vontive then underwrites the loan, comps the loan, communicates with the borrower on your behalf. They do all the paperwork. They do the risk mitigation. They do the risk tolerance, and then they communicate with the title company and they fund the money. Wait, so you're telling me all I have to do to make money? Yes, I'm telling guys, it literally is this stupid easy. And after this training, you are going to go, how is it that I haven't done a Gator deal yet? Because you literally haven't done any work. That's why. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. You want to make 20 grand a month, 30 grand a month, 40 grand a month? I make probably with Vontive, I don't even promote them that often. Our residual with Vontive is like $25,000 to $35,000 a month, and I don't even push them. I'm not doing outreach. I'm not calling borrowers like you guys are going to. You guys have a unique advantage to go out and make a ton of money. That's residual. And by the way, now that Vontive knows that that's my client, every time in the future that Bob uses Vontive's money, guess who gets paid? Me. I don't even have to talk to Bob ever again in my life. And they will continually fund all of his money, all of his projects. He will have a representative that communicates, and then they'll give me a monthly report. It is physically impossible for you not to make money in this business. Physically impossible with the resources I've given you and the training that we've done and 1,200 plus people that are hanging out in here this morning. It is physically impossible for you not to do deals. These people want this money. If you are not making money, you are not doing work, period. End of story. That's not it. It is so simple. Hey, I have money. Do you want some? It's like selling water to somebody who's about to die of thirst. Hey, I got water. Do you need some? I'm afraid to ask you. Bro, what? These people are starving for money. They're thirsty for this money, and you give them a link is literally all you need. Some of you guys didn't even know what myinvestorloan.com was and that I'm white labeling another company until literally this moment. These borrowers are not in Gator. They are not learning where money comes from. They are just they're in some flipping mentorship, and it's all they've flipping learned is how to flip houses. You guys are coming to them and going, let me give you the money so that you can go flip more houses or go buy more in your portfolio. They don't know where the money comes from. They have no clue. So myinvestorloan.com is my vanity link. I bought it at GoDaddy.com. I created a forwarding link, and it goes to my representative at Vontive. Today, you might meet that representative. I think he's going to come in here today. He will also be your representative as well. You can white label Vontive just like I do. I like Vontive because they're nationwide. They're great to work with. They don't loan on every type of product. They don't do every type of hard money loan. So at some point, you will be an adult and go find other lenders to go white label. Okay. They also don't pay the best. But when I look at the balance of I could get paid more, but the company that pays me more doesn't actually communicate with my borrower, and my borrower ends up leaving and going and finding another lender, I'm like, I'd rather get paid less and make sure my borrower keeps going and getting funded, and I never have to talk to that borrower again. That's called being an owner with an owner mentality, not an employee mentality where I want to make all the money, and I don't like that Vontive only pays me a portion of what they make. Okay. If you're a child, you will get childish results. If you are an adult, you will get adult results. Okay. What does the Bible say? The Bible says, when I became a man, I put away childish things. One of the childish things I see with newbies is they'll go, I want to make all the money. They're like Gollum, my precious, I need to make all the money. Nobody else should make money but me. And then your lender that you chose to go with has absolutely atrocious customer support, and your customer now is gone. The work that you put in and you invested into that customer is now gone. You now have to go back to the phone, which is the reason why you're not making money in the first place, because you haven't picked up the phone. Now you got to go back to the phone that you hate. And why I have to do this challenge to encourage you and motivate you to pick up the phone. Go with a company that is nationwide, will do the majority of what you want to do, and they will communicate like a freaking maniac. Your customers will love these people. I have customers that go and borrow money over and over and over and over and over from Vontiv for like the last 4 years. I'm like, oh, they borrowed another thing. I got paid another $3,000. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. That's how an adult thinks. Children think more money. I want more money on every deal. Okay, good luck. Have fun with that. Pace, my lender is not Pace. I'm so glad you're doing this Q&A today, Pace. So I did the work. I did a lot of work. But I was like really greedy, and I went after a lender that said they'd pay me a lot of money to bring these borrowers to them. And now they're not communicating. What suggestion do you have? All right, perfect. This is great. Here's what we're going to do as a group. We're going to invent a time machine, and you're going to go back to the Gator Challenge at 7:46 in the morning, and you're going to go in and you're going to not do what I told you not to do. That's the answer. I know I'm being funny and sarcastic and all that kind of stuff to get your attention, and which is actually a style I've learned to communicate with, because people don't pay attention unless they're laughing or feeling like somebody's mad at them. So whenever you guys see me act like I'm getting mad, it's because I'm trying to get your guys' attention. So my borrower is not communicating with me. I don't need to comp the property. I don't need to underwrite the property. I don't need to do any paperwork. I don't need to do any contracts. I literally send my borrower a link via text message, email, smoke signal. I tattoo it on their arm on a QR code. I don't care how I get them to go to that link. You get your borrower to go to that link. My link is myinvestorloan.com. My borrowers go to myinvestorloan.com. They then communicate with Vontiv. Vontiv then takes the relationship, and I never talk to that borrower again unless I want to give them other types of money. If I haven't been clear enough here, that's because you haven't been paying attention. Okay? You have more than enough information on this topic to go and take a tremendous amount of action. So here we go. Now, what's going to happen is My Investor Loan is going to say yes to the loan. They will typically fund 70 to 75% of that purchase, so $414,000. They are going to fund that, okay? Now, that's 70% of 414. Let's figure that out, okay? 414 times 0.75. They are going to fund $310,500 from Vontiv. Pace, what are their rates? Pace, what do I get paid on that? Not important to the conversation. Not important at all. Literally the least important thing on the planet right now is like, well, what are they going to charge my client and how much am I going to make? You deserve that answer after you take action. That's when you deserve that answer. You don't currently deserve that answer. If you haven't taken the work, you haven't done the work, you do not deserve the answer to that question. Welcome to being an adult. Pace, can't you just tell us so we can put in a spreadsheet and make up this belief system of like, well, if I do this many loans, I can do this much profit, and then you literally never take action? No, I ain't doing that. Go take the action, follow the instructions of this challenge. Your life will change forever. You will make significant amount of money. Don't worry about the percentage. Don't worry about what they're charging. It doesn't matter for you to take action. In fact, you're asking, we're on letter A right now. You're asking questions on letter T, okay? You're wasting your time asking these kind of questions. You want to know, why does this guy need money? What does Vontiv do? How do I white label this? How am I not using any of my own money? That's crazy. That's what we're talking about right now. What percentage you make is so insignificant. Figure it out when you actually submit borrowers there. Okay. Your representative from Vontiv will tell you that question. I telling you that question right now will just prevent you from talking to Vontiv in the first place. Ooh, I got the information. Dopamine rush. I got a dopamine rush of information. I don't need to take action. No, I'm going to make all of you go talk to Vontiv. I'm going to make all of you guys go white label Vontiv, and you will go and talk to your representative, and you will figure it out while you are making a relationship with Vontiv. Give me a thumbs up that you understand I've learned how people, okay, psychologically won't take action when they finally get the information that now the dopamine has hit their head. Carly, please lower anybody's hand that raises their hand, please. There is no Q&As today. I have sufficiently answered the question. There should be no questions, period. Sorry. All right. I also have a short time frame, guys. That's why I'm teasing and saying I can't answer questions. I have a very short time frame. We have guests today. I got to stay on topic. Okay. So do we understand? Give me a thumbs up emoji if 99% of you guys understand this. If you don't understand part of this, ask somebody else in the Gator Tribe. This is why we told you guys to join teams. Okay. Vontiv will now fund $310,000. Where does that money go? Vontiv sends it to the title company. And then Vontiv will then pay you separately. Okay. Vontiv will then wire money to the Gator separately, say, hey, we funded this deal this month. Here's your fee. They will wire money to you outside of escrow. Okay. As an additional fee. Now, your borrower is short on money now. This is a competitive advantage for you. They are short on money. Why? Because they needed $414 to buy the property. We haven't even gotten into the renovation money. They needed $414 to buy the property, but they only got $310,000. So we already know they're short $104,500 on this property. Where does that come from? This is where Gator 3.0 comes in. This is where you can say, hey, if you use my hard money company, I can introduce you to private money lenders. Now, this is where you would go and find Gators in the Gator Tribe and go, who's doing Gator 3.0? Who can bring money to my borrower and pay me in the process? This would be called being a connector. You are connecting to Gator 3.0. So let's say we have Javier. Javier, the borrower, the guy that we showed you a little bit earlier, this gentleman right here, Javier actually needed both. He needed hard money and private money. This is where the Gator student just shined. He says, if I can bring you the hard money and the gap money, see, there's a gap between what he's buying, 414, and what Vontiv is giving him. That's why we call it a gap lender. You're filling in the gap of the down payment. If I can bring you the gap money and the renovation money, can we just partner on the deal? So if you can go and bring them the Gator 3.0 money, you have a massive competitive advantage because no hard money lender will give them all of the money and all the renovation. So when you call these borrowers and you say, hey, I actually can fund not only 100% of your purchase, but I can also fund your renovation money. Here's what happens. Your borrowers stop caring about what you're charging because now you are making their life easier. Now, you are going to have a tremendous amount of borrowers that just want to use your hard money loan. Tremendous. Probably 80% of the people that you're talking to are like, yeah, I actually have my own cash, but I could use a better hard money lender that's faster and can do more deals. I'd love to use you guys. That's Gator 2.0, only Gator 2.0. When somebody says, yeah, I'd love to use your hard money company, but I also need gap money and renovation money, that's going to come from the same source. That's Gator 3.0. That will be individuals. I will fund those deals for you. So you're welcome to bring those deals to me. I will fund them. We probably funded $3 million just last week of Gator's 3.0 stuff. I know how to do the paperwork, so you don't have to. I know how to vet the deal, so you don't have to. I know how to control the transaction, so you don't have to, and we can split the deal, okay? So that is where the Gator 3.0 money can come from. You can use me and my team. Pace, how do we get a hold of your team? money@pacemorby.com. Okay. Now, Pace, is this the only place I can find Gator 3.0 money? No, there are a lot of Gators. In fact, I'm going to open up the side chat just for a second. How many Gators can help other Gators with Gator 3.0 money so they don't have to email Pace? Give me a yes in the comments. Or me. Okay, so if you are new, do you need me to fund the Gator 3.0 money? Yes or no? The answer should be no. You have plenty of resources in here so that you can go and be a massively competitive person to go and fund all of these deals. There you go. For me, if you want the cheat code, you can just email money@pacemorby.com. My team will underwrite the deal. They'll tell you yes, no, or whatever. We will go and fund these types of loans and make sure that we bring the gap money and the remaining money as well. Now, here's what will happen a lot of times. I want to give you guys another really, really cool thing. So this is the second type of money, okay? So the first type of money that Bob is going to use, first type of money that Bob is going to use is he's going to be using, number one, hard money. Okay, we are going to introduce you to Vontiv today. We're going to check that box. Okay. Number two, they're going to need private money, which is Gator 3.0. You can get that at money@pacemorby.com. Or you can work with other Gators in the tribe. Okay. Number three, here's what's going to happen in a lot of these situations. This is people that are doing the BRRRR strategy. I believe Bill Faith, who's going to be our guest here coming up in a second, I would suspect that probably 80% of his audience that he hangs out with is doing some sort of this exact transaction, which means they buy the property with hard money, they bring private money lenders to do the renovation and the cleanup and the furniture, et cetera. Then once it's stabilized, they refinance with another lender and they pay this off right here. This gets paid off and this gets paid off. Let me make that a little bit bigger so you guys understand. Once he goes and gets the refinance, they pay off this and this with a new loan. This is one of the coolest things I could tell you. Guess what Vontiv will also do? Vontiv will also, that is myinvestorloan.com for me, they will also do a permanent refinance for your borrowers. So not only will they fund the initial purchase, they will also refinance and give them permanent 30-year amortization DSCR money. Vontiv will be a massive resource for you. So think about it. I could go find a hard money lender that's going to do the hard money on the purchase of the house. But then when my borrower is ready to refinance that property, do you think I want to refer them to a different borrower? Or I'm sorry, a different lender? That's some childish behavior. I don't have time for that. My job is to find more borrowers, not deal with, are my borrowers set on their refinance? I want Vontiv to take that relationship and go, okay, cool. What are you doing with the property? You're going to sell it? Vontiv will do all of that. And then the borrower, Bob, will go, no, I'm actually going to refinance this and keep this in my portfolio. Sweet. What are you going to do? Oh, we're going to do pad split. Sweet. We can do pad split loans. You can? Yes. So let's give you the hard money. Once you fill out the tenants, we'll give you another loan. Guess who gets paid on the second loan? And every time they do another refinance in the person in the future, who gets paid on that transaction? Tell me in the side chat, who gets paid on that transaction? Is there any physical way that you cannot make money in lending money of other people's money? Any physical possible way? A yes or a no will suffice. Okay. When you guys ever say something in the Facebook group, you ever see somebody in the Facebook group in Gator ever say, well, I haven't done my first deal yet. I want you to immediately make a comment underneath that and go, no, you haven't done the work yet. And you haven't watched the Gator Challenge where Pace made it impossible for you. Pace made it impossible for you, brought you the relationships, the training, the understanding. Man, it is physically impossible for you to not do a deal in Gator. Physically impossible. You have just truly decided not to do the work. And when people lie and they say, no, I have done the work. What do we know? What do we know? That they're lying. Okay? Impossible. Impossible for you not to make money. In fact, it's impossible for you not to make residual money in Gator. Okay? Residual money in Gator. So that is the process in which these borrowers are bringing money to the table. Okay? So we then make their jobs way easy. Okay, we make their job so stinking easy to be able to come in and go, man, I'm going to buy an Airbnb. I'm going to get it furnished. I'm fully funded. This is crazy. This is absolutely freaking crazy. Are you funding deals in AZ or all 50 states? I am funding deals in all 50 states. Okay, I funded $260,000 2 days ago in New York. I hate New York. I love New York when I'm there. I don't like New York's laws, but I still loaned there. We just did a $260,000 loan there. Okay. I'm making on that deal, by the way, $155,000 on that private money loan. That's a good deal. Okay, let's go through the steps again as we are bringing in our guest. He will be here shortly. All right. Carly will be letting me know when he is here. He should be here any minute, but I'm going to go through these steps. Okay. So step number one, my friends, we are going to go to get the list from Pace. We will be giving that to you at the end of the Zoom today. We are then going to focus on a local market. If you are confused of what market to choose, if you are not confused on your market, you can choose anywhere. By the way, Gator works everywhere. So don't ask that question because I know some of you people in New Jersey are going to go, I'm in New Jersey. Nobody likes New Jersey. Yeah, well, people do projects in New Jersey. Lending can be done anywhere. Our guest is here. So right after I go through the steps, we're going to bring our guest up and I'm going to be asking him questions about how does his community, how does his Airbnb people, how are they using money? How are they funding their deals and why they need you guys? And I actually would suggest you guys, he has this incredible event. I speak at it every year, 3,500 borrowers. When you guys go to an event, you're not going to an event. He has this event, I think it's in Nashville this year. This event is full of 3,500 Airbnb purchasers. What are those to you? Those are borrowers. Those are people that need your money. And when you're smart and you invest in yourself, which you guys do, you go to events like this and go, I'm going to meet 10 people in person. I'm going to go, I can fund all your deals 100%. Your hard money, your renovation money, your refinance, I can literally take care of you top to bottom. No lender, I'm going to tell you right now, no lender, even Vontive, can do what you guys do. Because what happens is now Vontive goes and funds their purchase, but guess what these Airbnb investors have to go do? They have to go find private money in order to make that hard money actually work. You, my friends, can bring both and you freaking win. You freaking win. Then when they're done and they want to refinance into a permanent loan, guess who also gets paid on that? You guys. It's an impossible situation to lose on. So let's go through the steps one more time. We'll bring Bill Faith up here for about 40 minutes until our next guest comes up. You guys make sure you guys give thanks to our almighty, amazing Mother Earth. Look at this freaking view I got today. Montana, baby, all day, every day. Okay, cool. So you're going to get the list from Pace today of all the borrowers. Another really great place to find borrowers would be through like Bill Faith, right? He has an incredible event coming up in Nashville. I would go to that event and I'd go meet 10 people a day. He has 3,500 borrowers there. Okay. Focus on a local market. If you're confused by what market you should choose, I'm not confused because I will do all markets. I will do all 50. But for me, I look at you guys when you're brand new. I want you to build relationships with people in person. That's an important sticking advantage. You're going to reach out to people any which way you possibly can. When you are at events like Bill Faith's event, you don't need to reach out. You literally just go, hey, are you a buyer? I'm somebody who can bring you your purchase money, your private money, and your refinance. You literally don't have to bring $1 to the table. Just consider it fully funded. Anytime you do a deal with me, consider it fully funded. I can help you out. Boom. You don't need to reach out or text or wonder, hey, are you buying projects? Everybody that's going to a Bill Faith event, let's say all these Airbnb people, they're buying houses. They need hard money. Renovating houses, they need private money. They need the furniture and the furnishings. That's private money. And then they need to refinance all of that out. That's a DSCR loan. And you get paid on that as well. Okay. So you're going to reach out. Sometimes this is just going to events and meeting people in person. Okay. Step 4. Ask genuine questions about how are you funding your deals? Hey, my name's Pace. Just want to know, how are you funding those deals? How can I help you? Maybe there's a fit. Maybe there's not. Cool. Love it. What type of money are you using? You are not done with the conversation until you know what kind of money they are using. You want to then take that information and you want to put it in your database of, hey, Tom Smith of New York City he's in my database. I know exactly what kind of money he's using. I know who he's currently using, what interest rate he's currently paying, how many projects he's doing. You're going to put them in the database and you are going to follow up. This now becomes a follow-up game. If freaking Bath and Body Works can follow up with people about their ashy elbows and their crusty heels, trying to sell them lotion and go, I don't know when this person's going to have crusty heels, but I'm going to keep sending them an email every couple of days, giving them coupons and birthday things and, hey, buy one, get one free and all of those types of things. You guys can do it as well. It's called follow up and welcome to business. Okay. For some of you guys not doing 9 to 5, the business that you currently work in, whatever company that pays your paycheck, there's somebody doing massive follow up to the customers in that business. You might just not be in that department. Okay. So then you are going to direct them to the money. It's this simple, truly. You're either going to send them to your vanity link, which we will talk about that at the end of the Zoom today. My vanity link is myinvestorloan.com. I get paid every time somebody goes there and borrows money from there. And if they need private money, you are going to either you're either going to send them to money@pacemorby.com. So Jade and Heather can help you guys out. Anytime you guys need money of any kind, we will help you out. B, you are going to find gators in this challenge that can do the Gator 3.0 money. I'm going to open up the chat. Have you guys efficiently been educated on what this challenge is all about over the next couple of weeks? Is anybody freaking excited and go, oh my gosh, I had no idea how much opportunity there was? Okay. There are, by the way, I pulled a list 2 days ago. There are currently in the United States over 700,000 active fix and flippers or portfolio purchasers that are non-hedge funds. So not Opendoor, not OfferPad, not Blackstone. 700,000 people are either fixing and flipping or buying a portfolio and expanding their portfolio actively right now, which means we pulled data of people that have bought properties more than 3 in the last 12 months, and it came up with 700,000 people in the country. What I did for you is I distilled it down to the top 12,000. So you know that you're talking to people that are doing 10 to 15 projects a year, okay? So somebody says, I've already got a borrower who's a PML right there. You guys already got it happening. So we have made it so simple for you guys. There's endless opportunity. Let's bring up our guest and talk about what are his people doing to fund their deals and maybe why you should go to his event so you can meet his borrowers in freaking person. Bill Faith, what's up, brother? How you doing? Let me make sure you're unmuted. I think you might be frozen. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Oh, there you go. Asking you to unmute somebody. Oh, there we go. Bill, how you doing, brother?
What's up, man? I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And I'm jealous to see your view. I can't wait. I'm going to be there in 6 days. I can't wait to get out to God's country.
I love it. Guys, Bill Faith also lives in Montana. He's got an incredible Airbnb up here. Awesome. Guys, please say hi to Bill in the side chat. I want to give him 1,200 people in the side chat should be saying, hi, Bill. Thanks for being here. Now, what I told Bill is I said, Bill, I love speaking at your event. I know you have a lot of borrowers that are going to your event. They're buying deals. He is the #1 Airbnb educator on the planet. I think he's the only guy that should be teaching Airbnb. You guys hear me poke and prod Airbnb all the time going, it's not done right. It's just not simply done right. Bill is the one guy in the industry teaching Airbnb the right way. And so his borrowers are not just somewhat insulated from the Airbnb situation the last couple of years, but his borrowers are actually excelling. And so his event is an event I've spoken at before. It's incredible. 3,500 buyers are buying properties. Bill, how can people come and join me, Cody Sanchez, and you at the short-term rental wealth conference in Nashville?
Yeah, great question. I want to start with everybody in the chat. Thank you for all the welcomes and the hellos. It's amazing. Please tell Pace thank you as well. I was listening in for about the last 7 minutes. And so at my conference, which starts on July 23rd, Pace, and you guys know Jerry, or Pace is going to be doing a keynote that morning. Then him and Jerry are going to be doing a 4-hour track in the afternoon. And Pace, I heard you loud and clear, and I'm a giver like you are. You've met Chris, my guy behind the camera. So as soon as Pace gets done and Jerry with their 4-hour track, I'm opening up a 300-person room right when they're done. And all the Gators that are there, that's going to be the Gator room. And that entire day, when I'm on the main stage and Pace is on the main stage, Pace, you can incorporate this into your speech. Where are all my gators? And everybody stand up and raise your hand. If you guys need money for fix and flip, for renovation, for whatever it is, look at all these gators standing around you. All these people can lend you money to help you with that, because this is something that Pace, if people aren't in your program, and I've got people like Trevor and Casey that are in both of our programs. They texted me. They knew I was coming on this morning. They asked me if I need any money. They know I'm under contract for another property in Montana, and I've got like a $400,000 renovation budget. I would much rather borrow that money than come out of my own pocket, right?
Right.
So I'm going to create the Gator Room. This just happened in the last 7 minutes, and Chris has
That's
already got it
freaking
down.
incredible, dude.
So that way me and you can prop up your community that's going to be there and help them start funding on site. So here's the biggest problem in our world. One, everybody turns to Fannie and Freddie. Then if they can't qualify, they go for a DSCR product. That's it. That's the only two things that they know in the knowledge of where to turn for money. Everybody to go to your Gator program and look at, like, on Tuesdays, once in a while, you're sending out your PML list and stuff like that in your Instagram stories. So, but they just don't dig hard enough, because of our friendship and what you've done for me, to your community, to give them an opportunity right behind what you're doing on that day, the opening day of the conference, and me and you will tee it up for them.
I love it. Now, guys, I can imagine Bill probably has some hard money lenders that are going to be sponsoring his event. I've never seen so many sponsors want to sponsor an event. He has such a great sponsor room. Here's what's going to happen. I would tell you that most Airbnb buyers or fix and flippers I know, they will have a hard money lender that they're used to using. Okay. That's going to be almost a given. Like probably 80% of flippers are using a hard money lender already. So don't get discouraged, because the biggest problem they have is by far the private money aspect of, where am I getting my down payment for that hard money lender? The closing costs? Where am I going to get my renovation money and my furnishing budget? I also don't want to make these payments while I'm doing the renovation. What's cool about you guys doing private money, my private money side, we will fund people's down payment. We will fund their furnishings and their renovation. We will also front load them enough that they can make the hard money payment from the private money that they borrow from us. So literally, even the payments they're making are being paid for by the private money lending side. I can guarantee you every single person in that event that Bill has is going to go, are you kidding me? I could do 2 more projects a year if you guys are doing that.
Pace, that creates scale for us. And that's the biggest problem for most people. Their hiccup in short-term rental investing, whether they're good or new to it, is they just don't have the capital. And this is something that they just are not aware of unless they're in your community. You are the only one that is truly teaching this at this level. So I'm excited to open this up. And I think that we can probably get 500, 600 people in that room for your Gators easily.
Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Guys, what would it look like if you guys literally just landed one client at his event? Last year, he had 3,500 people, crazy high energy, amazingly smart, high qualified people. He brings in incredible people. How do people get to that conference?
Go to strwealthconference.com. I think your team has a link to pop in the chat, but here's the deal, folks. When you check out, you're going to see a spot for a discount code. Type in the word PACE.
Oh, sweet.
The only thing I ask you is, please do not share this outside of this community, because this is the biggest discount. We don't discount our tickets. If you type in the word PACE, you save $300 on the tickets.
Yeah, guys, one rule, what I like about Bill and I kind of think the same way about things. It's like when you build something that's special, like a Ferrari or a Lamborghini or a Rolls Royce, you never see coupon codes for those products. And it's because they made the best of the best of the best, and you attract the best of the best people. People that you want in that room are not literally, this is why we don't do coupons or discounts for our event. As you guys all know, most of you guys went to the event last year. People, are there any discounts? Hell no. Because if I give a discount, I'm bringing in a lower quality person. So Bill is actually trying to incentivize you guys by saying, get in the room so my community can be fully funded on their projects, amplifies you guys. It's a wonderful way to go. So there it is. I got it. STR.
And please just keep this in Pace's community, because this is literally, if you are in one of my mastermind programs, you're going to get in for less than they are. This is why I said tell Pace thank you, because We're going to create this opportunity for you that we will fill that room between Pace and I and Jerry to be able to do this. And Pace has had a tremendous impact on my life, just like he has for yours. And I believe that we always need to continue to give back to people that help us.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate that. So, just before I ask Bill some questions about the Airbnb business right now, and how does a typical Airbnb borrower go borrow money? What's their process? Stuff like that for you guys. Bill, that's really cool, dude. Thank you for putting that room together. I love that you just pivoted 7 minutes before. And you're like, you know what? Let me put a room together that people can literally just go meet private money lenders, these gators, and go. You could call it the fully funded room. Like, you guys want to get fully funded on your projects? These are the people you got to go meet.
Chris, you hear that? That's going to be the name of the room, the fully funded room.
Okay, love it. That's awesome. Okay, so strwealthconference.com, promo code PACE. Carly just put in the side chat. Here's what the landing page looks like, guys. It took me a second to load it. I think because we had a bunch of people going to it.
Chris is watching the traffic. There's like 800 people hitting it all at one time.
Okay, that's great. Good. Okay, so guys, just give it a minute. It took me like 30 seconds for it to load. That just means a lot of people are wanting to go to this. So that is freaking awesome. Laura Byers, good to see you, my friend. She says the website is down. Just give it a second. We'll make sure that it gets popped up. So
you're like a Kardashian. You're breaking my website like when they break the internet, right?
Yeah, I broke PadSplit's website. We broke Privy's website. People have had to buy. We have action takers, man, which is cool and very similar to your community. There's very few people that when the economy changes and shifts, that their students, I know I don't call mine students. I know you don't call yours students necessarily. Of course, I'll use that word from time to time, but your members of your community are actually figuring out how to pivot and thrive in today's market rather than go, I'm going to sit on the sidelines and not do anything. I think that the greatest opportunity to buy real estate is over the next couple of years, as most buyers are afraid because they don't have access to the right funding. They're not structuring deals with creative finance. Maybe they're trying to do everything with their own money and they want to keep their money at, safe to the chest. Meanwhile, people that are smart and have access to capital and access to creative finance, they're going to go out and talk to agents on deals that have been on the market for 200 days and haven't sold and go, I'm going to get a way better deal than I could have a year ago or 2 years ago. And I'm going to set myself up for an incredible property. So Bill, our last podcast that we did together, you talked about putting together unique properties, not just some like run of the mill Airbnb type of stuff. What is the name of the type of property you are teaching your people to put together?
They're called super properties.
Super properties. And why do you call them that?
Excuse me. A lot of people think that because I have some larger properties that they're just the big properties with all the big amenities like pickleball courts and stuff like that. And that's not true. A super property by definition is a property that outperforms the entire marketplace. So like I own a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, not a large property, about an hour away from you in Olney, Montana. It's 20 minutes on the other side of Whitefish, Montana from where you're at. And AirDNA, STR Insights, the experts underwrote that property at like $90,000 to $94,000 in revenue generation. My first year I did $217,000 at that property.
Wow. And
it's because it has the most unbelievable views ever, but I also added just 2 amenities that didn't exist in that whole Flathead Valley market. Put in a $15,000 geodome. You know, what's better than sitting outside your house and staring at the big sky at night and watching the aurora and all that type of stuff. So we have this climate controlled geodome and we added a barrel sauna. There was only 2 other barrel saunas and that was at Whitefish Lodge on Flathead Lake and they never work. So we create and it takes advantage of the view. So minimal investment. It was about $25,000 between the 2 things. But yet that helped propel us and give me the marketability to have something completely unique in that market. It's just like the property I'm under contract right now. It's been on the market for over 90 days. It's commercially zoned. It's right off 93, halfway between Kalispell and Whitefish, where my last big property was. But the thing that makes it unique, sure, it's got amazing views into, the valley to see Glacier Peaks, right? I can see the Swan Mountains, which you're super close to. But it's 7,700 square feet. Great. It's Golden Girls. I'm going to borrow money from somebody to put in $400K to modernize it. But here's the big thing. They have a 3,500 square foot really, really nice lean-to metal building that they've been hosting weddings in. So I get $60,000 at cash for the first 5 weeks after I close because they're running weddings. But then I'm not going to fire them. I'm not going to do weddings after that. What I'm going to do is I'm literally going to drop in some couches, probably 8 lockers from Amazon, a Schlagen code lock, and honor bar, and take that really nice metal building and paint a pickleball court in it. And it's
Oh,
going to be
cool.
it's going to be a luxury pickleball court. Then instead of trying to rent that out, do weddings, deal with all that type of stuff, I firmly believe I can sell 200 memberships at $1,500 a year to the people at Iron Horse, the wealthy people in Whitefish up on the mountain, because they don't have indoor pickleball courts. And I can make my Airbnb guests members so they can book and reserve it on the same platform when they stay there. So now I'm generating an extra $200,000 a year in revenue with no work. It's virtually one person restocking like honor bars, snacks, waters, that type of stuff. Turn it into this bougie, loungy pickleball court. And it's also an amenity that benefits my guests that stay at my property, that I would already be generating $2,000, $3,000 a night out of the house. So it's just added revenue. So I think just like you do creative finance, I'm looking at creative ways to leverage the assets that I'm buying to do things differently than just your standard Airbnb investor.
I love this. And also, like, as I listen to Bill talk, I always look at it from the lens of a newbie. Like when I was first starting 12, 13 years ago, and I would ask as I watch, professional presenters, people like Bill Faith or Cody Sanchez, I always look at it from the standpoint of like, okay, he's teaching, he's presenting, he's going through the right cadence. What would an audience member think as Bill is speaking? Because I'm a speaker and I'm always trying to learn, right? And the first thing I think of is like, somebody in his audience, as he's educating on how to do this, somebody that's newer to his community is going to go, wow, that sounds incredible. I want to do that. I want to do a geodome. I want to do a barrel sauna. I want to do that sounds great. And I understand why there's utility in that. That's super creative. But the first question they're going to ask is, where does all this money come from? I'm trying to jump into the business, but my DSCR lender or the, Fannie Freddie, those guys are going to give me only so much money, but they're not going to give me the renovation money. They're not going to give me the closing costs. They're not going to give me the payments to make until I can refinance and get everybody all the way paid out. I need that money. And there are people that will go, I want to do what Bill wants. I want to do 10 of these projects in the next 3 years, but I need access to money, and my 9 to 5 doesn't give me enough qualification to go get enough money, or I don't know where private money comes from. So this is an interesting thing, guys. Bill and I both have friends that teach how to go out and find private money, right? What I'm teaching you guys how to do is how to be the person that everybody wishes they could find. Okay. I have a friend of mine, charges people $60,000 for a mastermind. Well worth it. But his mastermind is $60,000 and he guarantees you access to 25 private money lenders by the end of a 12-month cycle. What Bill is going to do is he's going to fill a room called Fully Funded and go, hey guys, these are the people who will fully fund your deals, your down payments, your this. You want to do a pickleball court, you want to do a barrel sauna, you want to do a geodome. Here's the 500 gators that will do that for you. Think about it. If 500 gators or people from our community show up to this event, there are literally 6 borrowers for every single gator in that room. 6. You need one. You need one borrower to change your life forever as a private money lender or a supplier of capital, which is incredible. So again, guys, link in the side chat if you guys are going to go to that event. Has the website slowed down on traffic yet? People can get in there and buy tickets?
How's it doing, Chris?
Still going slow. I'm going to give them the direct to the ticket site.
Okay, Chris is going to pop in a link right now that goes direct to ticket site to avoid the main website.
Okay, cool. If you could maybe text it to Carly or text it to me and I'll put it in the side chat. Okay, people are saying, hey, people are saying, I think we broke it. Michael says, I got my ticket. It's flowing smoothly now. Awesome.
Cool.
Okay,
so
cool.
Pace, you're 100% correct. I just want to confirm for your community, that's always the biggest question I got. Bill, you've got money. You can, and you mentioned the accessory dwelling, all these factors. I can't get that for 20% down. It's 25%. So do the math. I'm paying 2.75 million. That's roughly going to cost me about 600K to close after closing costs, 618,000 bucks, right? So most people don't have that kind of cash to be able to take it down. You're 100% correct. Then I've got a $385,000 just for the house renovation budget. Right. So it's going to take me $1 million in cash if I don't use private money. So even somebody like myself, I'm still using private money as opposed to putting all of my cash in this. And honestly, I didn't realize that until B&B camp in October of last year. A year ago, I would be the one to flood my own money in. I'd never used private money. I always I had the ego to fund my own projects. And it was when Jerry jumped off stage after you remoted in, right? And he talked about fast money, medium money, and slow money. And we were talking about his Puerto Rico project. And I'm asking him how he was funding a project of that side. And that's where I got my education. Right. So I get how hard this is. So, and I think there's a thing for like me and you, Pace, Chris uses this term, we have the curse of knowledge. So we have to back up all the way to the beginning and think about how our community can leverage those things. And I know that 99% of my community cannot fund this type of a project on my own. I can, but I'm not going to, so I can show them how to do it the exact same way, like with some of your Gators.
I love that. Yeah. And Jerry, that project, the big concrete new build he's doing in Puerto Rico, I'm one of the 3 private money lenders on that deal. I brought 2 other Gators to that deal. That was funded by Gators, which is freaking awesome. And he's going to make like $3 million on that project. Crazy.
That's a good return.
It's a good, on one flip, he's making $3 million freaking dollars. Crazy good deal. So, Bill, for the people that are also wanting to get into Airbnb at some point, what are some things that they should be expecting? Like, obviously they're showing up to the Wealth Conference to find borrowers and fund deals for people and network and do those types of things. But what types of things are you guys also going to be talking about at your guys' conference that they could learn while they're also there?
Yeah, so this conference is fundamentally different than anything we've ever done. So instead of being main stage heavy, Pace, it's just you, it's Cody. I think Coach Michael Burt.
Yeah.
It's myself, Mike Sjogren, Kenny Bedwell, the number 1 property finder in our industry. And then I'm bringing up a celebrity chef as just a 20-minute special guest, Anthony Scotto. And then I've got Steve Schwab, who is redefining short-term rentals. He just bought Vacasa, so he's the largest, property manager in the world.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw him drop in that. He's trying to raise money for that, right?
Yep, exactly. So even a guy that's just bought the largest property management company in the world is trying to raise money and do it privately, right?
Yeah.
So outside of that, it's exactly what you and Jerry are doing on day number 1, right? So you guys have a 4-hour track, because nobody can keep pace, like to an hour timeline by any means. I'm giving you 2 hours on the main stage, and then you got this 4-hour track. So we have, Chris, 7 or 8 of those tracks, hotels, right? So you think about, we'll have 600, 800 hotel investors in this hotel track room on the second day. And literally none of those people can fund these deals on their own. We're all looking for private money. I just bought my first hotel in New Orleans about 6 weeks ago. We closed and we used private money for that. So that everybody in that hotel track is looking for private money. And once again, we paid $1.55 million, but we've got an $800,000 renovation budget. Then I've got to get to a reposition, in 18 to 24 months. There's a tremendous amount of opportunity. Here's the thing, is my community are the young millennials all the way up to people of my age that are looking to build their portfolio for long-term wealth. They don't live in your guys' world, but here's what they don't know. They don't know that they need, I'm not going to say want, they need access to the 1,000 people that are here to be Gators for them. It makes it so much easier for us. We can create so much scale. So we've got hotels, we've got revenue management, every single thing that we need as a real estate investor is what we need is going down at this conference. It's not just STR anymore. And that's why I wanted somebody like Cody to come in, because really we're all business owners. We're all entrepreneurs, just in different facets in one big real estate, investing side. And that's one thing that I look at every investment and I try to teach is I always want to hedge. We don't know when regulation's going to pull the rug out from under Airbnb or short-term rentals in any given market. So I hedge in my markets, but I also hedge with ARV to be able to flip out if I need to. And if you remember that you didn't get to see it. Jerry did that big property I bought in Whitefish with the 2 houses and the lake and everything. I bought it in June of last year. I couldn't get permitted, Pace. So I sold that sucker in March, 7 months after I purchased it, paid 2.8, sold it for 3.4 million.
Yes.
So I'm always looking for that hedge to be able to exit when I'm going in to enter. And Doesn't matter if I'm using PML, if I'm using Gator money, if I'm using DSCR, if I'm using Fannie Freddie. The funding's irrelevant for me in that point, but it's in the deal location and having that security to pivot.
I love it. Yeah. The interesting thing too about access to capital is that when I finally realized I had access to capital, it catapulted my mind into full on confidence mode, meaning I could go out and negotiate and buy and say yes to more deals instead of throttling my pipeline because I was like, well, I don't know, managing my money versus my pipeline. What's happening is Bill's community has big goals, right? They go to an event, they get pumped up just like we do at our event, and people go home and then they go, all right, I start building a pipeline. They start getting stuff that looks good. And then immediately what's going to happen when Bill's team or community goes home, they're going to go, but dude, where's all my money going to come from? And so there's incredible opportunity here. I love the hotel side of it because you're right. Short-term rentals change just like everything else. Think about single family houses in the last, I'm ironically wearing a pad split jacket today. My daughter, 2 minutes before I started the challenge this morning, threw up everywhere and I was wearing a hoodie. I had to switch out to a different jacket. But you look at the single family world, 8, 9, 10 years ago, I was focusing on just regular boring rentals, but those don't cash flow anymore, right? There are some that do, but the majority of them don't. And so you've got to get creative and you got to pivot. And what Bill is saying is he's saying, we're not really real estate investors. Like if you really think about it, we're just business owners and we're choosing real estate investment as our current vehicle. And that vehicle could change, evolve, get upgrades over time. You are a business owner, everybody. You are not necessarily just a lender. You're using lending as the current mechanism to be a business owner. Hotels are awesome. I love that. Also converting hotels into Section 8. I'm sure you guys are going to, I have a big, we just bought a motel, Bill. And this is what's cool. I bought the motel, 102 units. The gentleman that I bought it from, this proves all of this. This is amazing. And people have to learn this. Motels, hotels are, one, they need to be revitalized in either a boutique hotel style, which is awesome, tons of cash flow, awesome, and it's fun to own those kind of assets. Those are like trophy, fun, cool assets to own. Like you want them on your pitch decks, and they're fun to visit. You're like, dude, look at this, I own this thing, and this is cool, and you show your kids. Like that sometimes is worth owning these assets by itself. But also, it's not just the fun boutique hotel side of things. It's you can go buy a motel like I'm buying right now, and the guy I'm buying it from bought it for $1.5 million. He put $1 million into it to rezone it into multifamily. And guess what happened, everybody? He ran out of money. He has no access to private money. And so me as an acquisition guy, I'm actually using his lack of private capital as an advantage to me. So what I did is I went to him and I go, hey, I'll buy your 102 unit motel. You've now done all the hard work for me, rezoning, permitting, all of these things. And I will buy it from you, but I will pay you once I refinance with, after I'm stabilized. So what I'm doing is I'm raising $7 million of Gator money